Let's turn our attention now to the war in Ukraine, and reports are coming in that a village in western Russia has been hit by shell fire. Zaporizhzhia sits on the Belgorod region, very close to the border with Ukraine, an area which has often been targeted since Russia's invasion. The regional governor said that power lines and a gas pipeline were hit, though there were no injuries. Meanwhile, there are warnings over renewed shelling around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine. The head of the UN's nuclear watchdog has voiced extreme concern as Russian occupying forces begin evacuating residents from the area. Rafael Grossi described conditions as increasingly unpredictable and potentially dangerous, and called for immediate action to prevent the threat of a severe nuclear accident. There has been increased shelling on the front line ahead of a possible offensive by Ukraine. Our correspondent Hugo Bachega has more from Kyiv on the evacuation of the area around the power plant.
This announcement came days ago, and it happens ahead of a much anticipated counter-offensive by the Ukrainian military. And now we're having this latest warning from the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency. And Rafael Grossi has frequently raised concerns about the conditions at this nuclear facility. This site has been under occupation since the early days of the war, even though the Ukrainian staff still operate this facility, and there have been concerns about the conditions there at this nuclear facility. Now, this latest warning from Rafael Grossi, he called for measures to ensure the safety of this nuclear facility. He also said that the situation was increasingly tense, stressful and challenging for the people operating this facility. Now, this is happening as in Enerhodar, which is the city where this facility is located, is one of the places where this evacuation is taking place. And this morning we had an update from the Ukrainian mayor of Enerhodar, who described the situation in the town. He said that some buses have evacuated some residents. Residents are also living in their own vehicles. Some petrol stations have run out of petrol because of this evacuation, but he also said that there was no information that people were being forced to leave this city. Again, it's incredibly difficult to get a clear picture of what's happening in occupied parts of the country, but I think this gives us an idea of what's happening in those villages near the front line where this evacuation is taking place.
And this, the area which is being evacuated, this is where the staff themselves lives, isn't it, and their families. But as you say, the Ukrainian staff are still at their posts. But I think over the last 15 months or so, the numbers of Ukrainians working there has gone down. What has been said about the safety in terms of the number of staff still there?
Yeah, so, I mean, over the last few months, we've talked to some of the workers at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, and they've described extremely difficult conditions there, because obviously Russian soldiers are controlling this facility, and even Rafael Grossi has described how tense the situation is. Now, there is a mission, a permanent mission of the International Atomic Energy Agency at this facility, monitoring the situation there. But in this latest warning, Mr. Grossi said that members of this mission haven't been able to go to the town of Enerhodar, where many of these workers live, to get a sense of what was happening there, especially after this evacuation was announced. So again, he's describing the situation as extremely tense, especially with this evacuation, and we still don't know what is going to happen with the workers that still operate this facility, and obviously their relatives.
Bachega for us there in Kyiv.